heavy, baby, just awkward. Not heavy, but 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 awkward. Not heavy, Not a bit awkward.
And I am muted, so that is really awkward. Let's try it again. Hey guys, welcome back to the Reading Sound, a live stream podcast by me, Daniel Hill, here in Reading, California. And the purpose of this show is just to feature kind of everything that's going on in Reading, talk about the arts, bring in different musicians, and chat with them live and interact with you guys in the chat, take any questions, and kind of go from there. So our guest today, our first guest on the Reading Sound, which is so cool, is Dalton Fitzgerald.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really well. I'm very pleased to be with you on the sort of semi-inaugural episode of this. I'm very pleased to be having been included by you in the sort of the opening matter as something that is going on in Reading, because other than the fact that I'm physically here with my body, I don't necessarily think of myself as part of what's going on.
Well,
that's awesome.
That's where our opinions differ, because not only are you crucial to the Reading theater scene, the educational scene, working out at Shasta College in the theater department, and just performing around town in various productions. And that's what I knew about you to begin with. I'm like, oh, Dalton. Yeah, he does theater, and he wears cool blazers, and you know, we were in the production of Hamlet together, that John Truitt directed, and that was sort of my first true Dalton experience. But it wasn't until I just like had you over, we were hanging out or something, and you picked up a guitar that I was like, oh,
you realized I do play that.
I realized that you play the guitar.
Yeah.
I think you play it very well.
Well, it's very sweet of you.
And you showed me an original song or two, and I was blown away. And just the other day, we were hanging out, listening to the Beatles, playing Beatles songs, and gosh, I brought out my Beatles songbook. What are we gonna play? And you didn't look at the book once. You just started playing all the songs, and you knew all the words, and you were killing it.
Yeah, this is what happens when the first music I was ever introduced to as a very nerdy kind of teenager, just ages ago now. I'm 33, so this is going back a ways. But Beatles were definitely my first favorite band. It's a pretty good first favorite band. I mean, they obviously really, hold up. There's a reason that they're sort of held up as this sort of singular force inside of pop music. But yeah, there was a while where I, with my thoroughly out of step with technology little Walkman tape player, and then later a CD player, when that was, like iPods were available, but not for this guy. So I would just be like jamming away to a little bit of other stuff, ABBA, Sammy Hagar, but the Beatles were a very big. When I was 15, I had my hair grown out all along. I had these little circular glasses, which did not suit my face at all, but I was really trying to emulate John Lennon's sort of whole vibe.
I got a couple pairs around here. I can go grab the Lennon glasses. I have a yellow pair. I have this awesome... I'm going to grab them. One sec. I got to grab the glasses.
He's grabbing the glasses.
I know exactly where they are, too.
This means this means that I am now alone just with you, the listener. Hello. It's a little ASMR experience. He really did know what they were as well.
I'm going to do a YouTube short titled Leaving My Guests Alone in the Studio while I grab stuff.
No,
and
great.
Just every reaction
that
guests have when they're stranded.
Well, of course, it probably says something about me that my immediate sort of response, my immediate instinct was just to just barrel the lens and kind of like flirt with the audience. So, hello, you can hear me now, can't you? Distinctly creepy.
Distinctly. These glasses are particularly cool because I was at my dad's house ravaging through his vinyl collection, begging for just about every record he pulled out.
Nice.
And I found these, and I'm like, oh, these are cool. And he had an entire backstory for them. He went to a show where they pre-recorded audience members of like things they were most excited for, and they projected those reactions onto the big screen before the band played.
Oh wow.
And apparently he said something just crass and crude enough to be featured, like the first person that came up.
Daniel, I can't imagine your father saying something crass and memorable.
No, neither could I. And So he was wearing these, and he was a super tall, lanky guy.
Yeah.
And stood out
He's
like
still super tall.
like a sore thumb at the
Yeah.
venue. So in a sea of thousands of people, his promo comes up where he's talking about it, and he says something about, getting some or doing whatever.
Yeah.
And the whole arena just erupts, and everybody's eyes tilt and focus to the one head that's taller than the rest of the people in the crowd. And then the lead singer of the group comes out and points at him and says, "Was that you?" So he let me take these glasses, and I can't wait to wear them.
I like the little pink tint that they have. It's a real
And
vibe.
and if you notice, you buy the Halloween versions of these, and they're just cheap plastic. These are like a real metal.
Yeah, this is a real pair of glasses. I mean, it's there. I'd have to get them onto my face. You've seen somebody has had to sort of like abuse this part of the temple slightly to get them to sort of go on. And I'm trying to put them on over my actual glasses. Ridiculous. Let's see what happens here.
Ooh,
My God.
that's not bad. Wait, should we? I think we might need a close up on this one.
Oh dear.
Let's see. Can you duck down a little bit? Let me see it. I got
natural posture. to
Look at
hold.
this. Look at this. Ooh, look at you go.
Ladies, gentlemen, and various friends beyond the binary. This is, it's a. I'm not saying it's a good vibe, but it's certainly a vibe.
It's
Thank you
a
very much, Daniel.
vibe. You're welcome. I'm glad we did that. Oh boy.
Fortunately, having taken these off, I couldn't see it, so that's probably for the best.
Hey, look, we have Amanda Casaria in the chat, and she says, "Hi, Dalton. You look fabulous."
Hey, Amanda. Thanks very much. I appreciate that.
Gotta love friends telling you look fabulous when you are. It's a well-merited comment.
All you people out there in podcast land, or I guess streaming land, we've entered the streaming revolution here. Only a few years late.
Only a few years late, but we're here and we're doing it.
Hell yeah.
This is fabulous. So, Dalton,
Yes.
actor, musician, whatever, you name it. I have some special things planned for today, but I'd love, while we have you in here, if you'd maybe want to like play us a song.
Okay, I can play you a song. Would you like me to play the song that we discussed off the stream, or some other song?
I kind of want you to do whatever you want. I know you have originals, and there's one in particular that I always mention every time I see you that I love.
That's true, yeah.
And then you also talked about maybe playing some Beatles, which is cool because we've been talking about them.
You can tell a real pro, by the way. I smacked the mic stand just then.
And we're also drinking out of Beatles water glasses.
It's very thematic.
Dalton has one too, and these were Christmas gifts from Jacob Akana. So, shout out Jacob. We're staying hydrated.
Yes, indeed. We're hydrated. We're moisturized. We're thriving. We're living our best lives. So I have occasionally been known to write songs. I have this sort of I sort of came to songwriting a little bit backwards because I have this whole backstory that we can go into or not, probably not right now when I've got the guitar in my hand, but about just going to music school and learning about composing and stuff. And so I have a habit of not so much writing writing songs for sort of, with a guitar in my hands, and more sort of writing stuff for like a whole band to do with all sorts of, parts and sort of interesting orchestrations and things. And then having to not have a band available and say, okay, is there any of this that I can express with my guitar playing abilities? So this was just a song that I wrote that is quite whimsical. It's called Continent, and you'll simply have to imagine the various crashing drums and shrieking monkeys and various other things as I do a lovely, sensitive little coffee house version for you with this rather beautiful Martin that Dan's been nice enough to let me play. So anyway, it's a very long way of saying this is a song I wrote called Continent. My sweet, sweet love is a continent, and I'm an antique explorer in a comedy hat. I made landfall on her smooth white shores, and now I'm lost in her jungles, tramping this way and that. All I ask for is one sure sign, a a constellation in the darkness, or some omen from way up above. To point me back towards true north and lead me safely to the sanctuary of her love. Da da down, down, da down, da 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 down, da da down, da down, da 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 da. My sweet, sweet love is a paradox, and I'm an earnest logician with a box full of proofs. I build great castles with her algebra, but I can't seem to make the foundations match up with the roofs. All I ask for is one fixed point, some universal constant there could be no question of. To balance out these equations and yield some quotient which solves the puzzle of her love. Da 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 da. My sweet, sweet love changes suddenly. And that's the song.
Ooh, yes, thank you so much.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, that's a fun one.
It's a little like nerdy.
It is. I don't know another song that has the word quotient in it. It's I find that an interesting thing about songwriting, probably all writing, is that there's stuff that you can get better at, but there's also just your own voice as a songwriter, which you have very little control over, actually. Like, words just kind of, you can get better at sort of finding rhymes, you can use rhyming dictionaries tricks, you can read literary sources, do all this kind of stuff to, like, develop the craft part of it. But you just kind of, words go together the way that they want to go together in your brain, and it's very difficult to, you have to sort of accept that and just let it be sort of whatever it is.
I have struggled with that. I sometimes write songs like, I pull up to a parking spot, a little lake on a day not too hot, waves rock as the waves gently rock you and me. And it's like, you start telling these long stories, and then it's like, oh, is that too wordy? Am I going to narrow it down? But the second you start trimming that beautiful story that flowed out of you just the way that it was supposed to be, then you can kind of start losing some of that beauty in that story that was just inherently coming out of you. At the same time, I advocate for revision. So
totally. Can I talk a little bit just about two of my favorite songwriters, by the way?
Yeah.
So the person who I've read the most of about songwriting.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
Amanda Casaria said beautiful. Dawn Potter said nice.
Thanks very much, guys. I really appreciate that a lot. Thanks to Amanda and Don. Thanks for being on the stream.
Hey, guess what? Amanda, you were the 5th commenter in the live chat, and yesterday I promised that the first 5 commenters, if/when I'm able to monetize, we're going to get free subs. So Amanda, you got one of the first 5 free subs, and I'm going to throw one in for Don too, because Don, I freaking love you, man, and chances are you're going to both be on the show eventually at some point. So much love. Thank you for commenting in the chat. Yes, Amanda. Woo.
So it's free now, but it will continue to be free later. So I just wanted to sort of talk a little bit about songwriting. I don't know if I can call these people influences, but they're people who I try to learn from and steal from as much as possible. One of them is as of recently, sadly now late, although he lived a very long life, he's in his 90s, Stephen Sondheim, who is like a theater songwriter, of course, but he, in addition to just being incredibly prolific and this kind of lyricist and composer, very handily has a couple of coffee table books where he just sort of collected his lyrics together and then annotated them, but there's more annotations than there are lyrics. So it's like a guy saying, well, I don't really want to face the challenge of writing something long form that is like nonfiction, so I'll just write a bunch of like short form stuff, but there's enough of it to fill 2 books. There's one called Look, I Made a Hat, and one called Finishing the Hat, and one called Look, I Made a Hat. Just lines from Sunday in the Park with George. And it's just, yeah, he was such a good songwriter, such a sort of also a big nerd. This guy who sort of talks a lot about just like using rhyming dictionaries. It's always because he's writing for the theater. It's like he's writing with a very specific goal. He wants to sort of portray the scene and sort of make certain stuff happen inside of the song.
Sure.
So it's not it's sort of shockingly unintuitive. It's all about like making lists of words and kind of very, very slowly chipping away on stuff until you get the right number of syllables and stuff. So he is somebody who I've tried to like just learn from and draw a bunch of inspiration from. And the other person is a songwriter called John Darnielle, who is the main guy in the Mountain Goats. He is like the Mountain Goats is like John Darnielle plus whoever he's playing with at the time. I can't remember the name of his regular bass player, but it's just sort of John Darnielle and friends. And he's not a theater songwriter. He is explicitly like a confessional songwriter in the kind of mode that we think of, where we're just like writing your own experiences kind of in a very raw way into songs, but also thinks a lot about syllabification, thinks a lot about like sort of the technical aspect, and has a real penchant, I would say, for writing songs that are like, you know, a typical pop song is like verse, chorus, middle eight, double chorus, right? One of his songs is typically just like verse, chorus, stop. Which is like, I respect the willingness to just like write, like, here is the idea, I have presented the idea, and that's it. It's probably something I should apply to this conversation.
No, you're fine. But what I'm thinking is I need to apply that to my songwriting, because I have like 3 or 4 songs that I just haven't called done, even though they're basically done in my mind, just because I'm like, well, I haven't written the bridge yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just, so I'm waiting for them to feel finished. I'm not really playing them for people, even though they are verse, chorus.
Yeah.
Might as well call it done. I was playing at the Jam Nights at the IOF Hall a couple weeks back. There's one tonight if you're listening, 6 p.m. Oddfellows Building, downtown Reading, Jam Nights, which is cool. And I was playing all these songs. I'm like, oh, this one's unfinished. And we'd play it. Oh, sorry, guys, it's unfinished. And there was a guy sitting across from me who was loving the songs and playing with me. And he was like, they're only not finished because you haven't said there's an ending yet. Like, all you got to do is just call it done. Because we were playing for minutes.
Yeah.
The song doesn't need to be any longer.
That's the biggest thing I get from listening to Mountain Goats albums is just like, only write a bridge if there's something that you need to, like, if you need to get through it thematically or something to get you to the last chorus and to have a satisfying ending for the song. Like, if it doesn't need that, if you've sort of said what the song is saying, you can just get through the second chorus and that's the end of the song. It's okay.
Well, Dalton, you've played an original song, and while we still have a couple viewers, there's something I'm really excited about.
Yes.
And this is a big part of the show for me. And it's something that I want to do, not so it's an expectation, but I want to thank you for being on the show. And so I was like, what kind of gift could I get for Dalton to say thank you for being a good friend, thank you for being an awesome, collaborator in the community.
Above and beyond your gift is just your presence, which I think is a gift.
Well, thank you.
Why they call it presents.
But I love actual gifts. So check this out. Look, it's gift time.
Oh, wow. We've spared no expense on these graphics.
No expense. So without further ado, gift number 1.
Okay.
And I'll.
It's also the second instance of Daniel goes to get something while the guest vamps, right?
Daniel goes to get something, and Dalton is left on his lonesome for just one moment.
I should write a little theme song for this, actually. See, I thought he was going in the other room. I was gonna go, Daniel's going in the other room. Daniel's going in the other room. But he didn't go in the other room.
Okay, here's silly gift number 1. I actually have a second gift, but that's going to be for the end of the show.
Embarrassment of riches, my God.
Gift time. Dun, dun, dun. Gift time. First gift is a bow tie.
Oh, how sweet.
Now, this bow tie is the one that I wore for my my UC Berkeley graduation.
Really?
And I don't own many bow ties and I don't wear them, but you're a guy that looks dang good damn good. It's YouTube. We can say whatever we want. You're the kind of guy who looks damn good in a bow tie.
I thought you were gonna say I looked like the kind of guy who would have a large bow tie collection.
And you do, right?
No,
You don't?
No, but this will be the way I started.
Okay.
It'll be the very first one. I love a floral pattern.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the camera can see that, but it's got these lovely little sort of blue and orange flowers on it. It's great.
Yeah, there you go. Look at this. We got a blurry close up for you. You can lift it up
Exactly.
even out. Yeah.
And you have correctly estimated my sort of skill with stuff by giving me a clip on. So that's really nice.
Real quick, Sky Schofield says, "Oh, the live is live."
Yes.
The cool thing about Sky Schofield is I actually am going to start popping up in Discord, and I want to invite Sky in. He's a DJ, and he could DJ the underlaying tracks of my streams and hop on and say hey virtually. He just moved off to Washington.
Indeed.
So I can't wait to feature Sky on the show.
Yeah.
As literally as much as you want, dude.
The live has never been more live. That sounds like an awesome idea.
Yeah, and he's just the coolest dude. And Amanda says he does look damn good in a bow tie.
Don't think you've ever seen me in a bow tie, but it's very possible. That's very, and I especially knowing that it has a connection to such a sort of significant event. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate that a great deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for the viewers, so you know, most of my gifts are going to be stuff from around the place that I think are relevant to the people that I'm talking to. And if I can't find something, I will buy it.
I don't know how much of the room you guys can see at home, but I think possibly this is actually sort of a long game by Daniel to try to sort of declutter his household a little bit. This is like the sort of what's her name, Marie Cohn, is that her name?
I don't understand the reference, but that's okay.
That's all right.
Speaking of giveaways, I have one more announcement. For the first 1,000 subscribers to my channel will be entered in a giveaway to win. Dun dun dun! Drum roll, please, Dalton.
I shouldn't have done that with my face.
This guitar.
Whoa.
This is an Alvarez AD60 CK. And once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we will be able to monetize this channel if we also hit hourly viewing requirements. However, so if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll take that list, we'll do a random shuffle, and you will win this guitar, potentially. The cool thing about this guitar is this is the acoustic that I played with in my first band, Highway 3, from about... actually, I bought this band in college, my first year of college, I believe. The story behind this guitar is I played it in a local shop here in Reading. Not this specific guitar, but the same make and model. And I went back a week later to purchase the guitar, and it was gone. And I was heartbroken. So I picked up a guitar in the corner that you can't see, an Alvarez AD222C, and I played that guitar, but I always had like a major sense of FOMO and sadness for missing the guitar that I played in the shop that I didn't buy. So I scoured eBay for about a year until I saw a listing show up. It was for way too cheap, and I bought it, and I got this guitar, and I realized that I liked the one that I bought instead better. However, I had already given that guitar to my mom. My mom returned my real first guitar that I bought to me about 6 months ago. I've restrung it, I've set it up, and it plays magnificently. Not that this one doesn't. The electronics inside it are busted. There is should I mention
You're really pitching that free gift.
well here's the thing. I want to pitch it because it's a good guitar and it has sentimental value. I've gigged with it for years upon years. Should I mention the blood on the inside of the sound hole from...
I think you just did.
From like strumming so hard and just like... it's a really cool thing, and I definitely just want people to know that as much as I would love to do, you know, streaming and content creating and hanging out with friends for myself, it's really all about the people. Having Dalton on here, this thing is already so much more fun than yesterday. Not that it wasn't fun, and I can't wait to have more guests on, and I also can't wait to engage with you and do my first giveaway. Enter to win an Alvarez AD60 CK. They don't make these anymore, and I played a bunch with it, and it's pretty cool.
featuring his literal blood, his very heart, his very soul, his DNA in that guitar. Not like that, just his blood, but still.
Just my just my
As
blood.
far as anyone knows, yes.
So do subscribe if you haven't, and thank you for checking out the channel. And hey, Dalton, will you click that button on that green box right there, right on top? Yeah, sweet. We're back in frame.
Oh, we're in frame. We're live again. We were live before and we're live again. My goodness.
So for those of you tuning in, we are here with Dalton Fitzgerald. He has we got a couple more comments. We got a heart, we got a mind blown, and blood. Someone might steal my DNA and clone me. That's kind of cool. I'm with it.
What would you do if you saw your doppelganger, like a precise doppelganger, walking around?
I would like start playing an original song and see if they sang along with me.
Yeah.
I would just like let's see. I would be like, the air is still, and if they didn't say silently moving, then I would be like, not the real deal.
What if they did though? What if they came up to you and they knew your song?
blood guitar. I'd probably kiss them. Now
it's a strong move.
Here's the thing. I've been trying to find, the love of my life, and I've been in love. I'm a lover.
He's a lover, not a fighter.
But the qualities that I look for in a person, I was talking to my therapist about this. I kind of realized that the qualities I'm looking for in a person are basically myself.
It's an important realization.
It is. So I've dated theater people. I've dated, like visual artists, just like dancers, just like, tattoo artists, just like chill people. I'm like, I like all those things about people, but I also want them to be a musician. I kind of like, blonde hair, blue eyes. None of those are like definitive requirements. But anyway, if I saw my doppelganger, I'd kiss him.
Okay, yeah, well, this is important.
Yeah.
This is important information. I don't know if anybody's ever seen. There's a movie with Jesse Eisenberg called The Double. It's based on like a Frank Kafka story where the scenario is very quick. He's just a guy is walking through his terrible life with his job in his cubicle, and then one day his exact doppelganger shows up and is better at his life than he is. Like, is more suave, is more confident, is better at his job, his girlfriend likes him better, and he has to sort of decide, do I just give in and let this guy take over my life, or do I fight to, like, maintain to assert that I sort of deserve to exist?
I definitely think about myself in terms of, like, parallel universes.
Yeah.
And, like, all the times that I made the healthy decision as opposed to what would have been, like, the unhealthy decision.
See, I only make unhealthy decisions, so it's usually I have the same scenario, but it's flipped.
Your
usually.
sweet, sweet love is a battlefield.
Yes, sure.
But yeah, there's definitely a version of me out there who's I was gonna say even cooler, but that implies I'm cool. Who's just really awesome, and that implies that I'm not awesome. There's a version of me that is superior because they didn't take a break, or they took breaks at the proper times.
Yeah.
I find myself resting when I want to work and working when I want to rest, and dealing with a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, indeed.
So there's definitely a version of me out there that's really got it going, and I hope that if I meet that version, it won't result in resentment or jealousy. It'll result in empowerment to, try harder. Be better.
Yeah. I mean, on the other hand, though, I would say that it's good to that you have enough sort of just confidence in yourself, sort of affection for yourself, that not only do you want to make out with yourself, but that you're at least able to say that, like, you're not openly envying that person now. I think a lot of people probably envy a sort of hypothetical version of themselves that made all the right choices. Yeah,
I've tried to remove just about all envy out of my life, and one thing that has happened that has sort of helped me remove that envy. I mean, you can go to a therapist, but unless you're talking about the stuff that you want to work on, like, good luck, right? But one thing is I play a lot of music, and I've been joining new bands, and I've been playing music with people that are better musicians in a lot of capacities, technically better. They have, classical training. They hit harmonies more intuitively. They just have, more practice, more time logged. And I have struggled with, not having imposter syndrome. Playing in, the Jacob Akana band, before I met Jacob, I'm like, oh, this guy is like really good. And, my ego was getting in the way. And then I met the guy. I'm like, oh, he's just a guy. And then I played music with him, and I'm like, oh, he's a really good musician. What if I can't keep up? But then I talked to my therapist, and she was like, well, maybe you could shift your mindset and like learn from him. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's so easy. So the next time I saw Jacob, I'm like, Jacob, dude, you're so talented. Can you show me some things? And he did. And now I'm playing in his band, and I'm playing new voicings that I didn't know existed. And I'm becoming a better musician because I got rid of that envy, and I shifted it into appreciation and collaboration. And, Danny Lindbergh just joined our group on the bass, and the first rehearsal, him and Jacob, they played together for a while. And I'm like, oh, these guys are so good together. Am I I don't know if I can keep up with their duo. And then once again, I reapproached it, and I came back into it like, no, Danny's really talented on the bass, and I appreciate that. He's a great musician, and he's a good guy, and I'm going to learn from him. And our last couple rehearsals have been absolutely magnificent. And I think it has a lot to do with not, rooting my emotions in envy or jealousy.
Yeah.
And just if you're better than me at something, good for you. Let's talk about it, and maybe I can learn something.
It's a very healthy attitude. I mean, I find that it tends to kick in for me. What I have to watch out for, and the thing that strikes me about that story is that Jacob Akana's name's on the band. You know what I mean? Because I have less of a difficult time when there's somebody who's very skilled, but if I'm sort of the person leading the effort, because I feel like, oh yes, if I'm leading the effort but you've decided to come, A, that indicates that you must like something that's going on here, because otherwise you could have just not come. And B, it's like, okay, I get to you're sort of offering to like sort of not sublimate yourself, but to yield up these big skills that you have towards some collaborative thing. But it can be challenging when you're joining in with somebody else's thing that they've already just got going. It's like this is a train that's already kind of rolling, and then you sort of board the train, and you're going, oh god, everybody's really good at this.
Yeah, it was hard, but it has since become a great pleasure playing with Jacob. And our band is actually funny. The Jacob Akana band. Jacob Akana writes all the songs, and he's our band leader. The other members consist of 3 people: Daniel Iwasaki, Daniel Lindbergh, and myself, Daniel Hill. Luckily, our drummer goes by Dan, our bass player goes by Danny, and I go by Daniel. So
that's very convenient.
We've made it work.
Who's the 5th person?
There is none.
I thought you said there were. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You said 3 other people, including yourself.
Including myself.
I see, yes.
Well, hey, I think this might be a good time to hear another song.
Okay.
What you got for us, Dalton?
I think that I would like to do a Stephen Foster song, if that's all right.
That is okay. I do want to hear a Beatles song, though.
Okay.
Before the end of the stream.
This is just something I was thinking of because I used to close sets with this. This is not closing the set, but it's a nice little piece of punctuation, and it's in the public domain. So there we go. It's a very old song, but a very good song. It's called Hard Times. Let us pause in life's pleasures. I did this in the wrong key. Let us pause in life's pleasures and count the many tears while we all sup sorrow with the poor. There's a song that will linger forever in our ears. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you've lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Woo. While we seek mirth and beauty, and music light and gay, there are frail forms fainting at our door. Though their voices are silent, their pleading looks will say, oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you've lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. It's a cry that is wafted across the troubled wave. It's a wail that's heard upon the shore. And it's a dirge that is murmured around the lonely grave. Oh, hard times come again no more. Here's the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you've lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Oh, hard times come again no more.
Nice.
Yeah, I used to close sets with that a lot because I think it's a nice note for that kind of thing. And also, I was always very big, when I was briefly doing solo sets, I was very big on the idea that you should mix music from, like, the most distant eras possible. You know, like, I would try not to rant about this, but, like, I think there's good songs from every kind of conceivable era. So, like, the earliest thing I think I ever played was written in, like, the 1500s, and I would sort of go from that into something that was like a Miley Cyrus song and stuff, just to be like, you know, it's just good music persists. It persists.
Wow, 1500s.
I think so, yeah.
Good music persists.
It's like, you know, it's like Sting has a whole album of songs by the lute composer whose name just evaporated from my head. It's not John Donne, he's a poet, but the other one, the one you can Google, if you Google lute composer Sting, you'll find the album.
There's something pretty incredible about the idea of just, I'm still stuck on good songs persist.
Yeah.
I think that's very true. And I think a lot of, that's just, I see Don Potter in the chat, and I'm thinking about, you know, the Grateful Dead, and just how, you know, Jerry's gone, but is he really? Because these songs are persisting. And I know there's a lot of people coming together to make that happen, as it has for a while. But Amanda says, lovely Dalton, Hey Jude.
Oh my.
We'll let Dalton pick. Is Hey Jude one you have in your belt?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a relatively easy song to play, actually. It's pretty simple
Compared to some of the other ones.
Paul McCartney especially likes to write songs with lots of, like, weird chord changes. That's not one of them. It's like a very simple song for Julia Lennon, you know.
Yeah. What does this say? Eden Karamazov? Does that ring a bell to you?
It's Eden Karamazov, and that does not ring a bell for me. I know about the brothers Karamazov, but that's a book.
That's
as much as I know.
That is a book.
It might be a Dostoevsky book. It might be one of the other ones.
It's
Might be
Dostoevsky.
Tolstoy. Okay.
Yeah. It's a damn good book too. I do prefer Tolstoy. Not the, like, why would you choose? Why don't you just say both and? Lute player.
I see. No, I'm thinking of somebody who is who is long since he is an English guy, and he is long since dead. I mean, like from literally like 1600s. So you wouldn't have a name like Karamazov. He's John somebody, and I can't come up with his last name, but
John Krasinski.
have you read an actual Tolstoy book?
I've read War and Peace and Anna Karenina.
Seriously?
Yeah, but it was really easy to read them on my Kindle because
Not Spawn. Hashtag not Spawn.
because every time one of those like 100 multiple Russian names showed up, you could just highlight the name and it would show you every time prior to where you're at in the text that name was referenced, so you could very quickly reference, oh, what was this name again? Who were they associated with? Who were they talking to?
That is very helpful.
in their network. And it just made it a breeze to read War and Peace. And Anna Karenina is a much more easy read without like notations, but still it helped.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so I recommend if you're going to read Tolstoy, go on the Kindle store, find the one with the best rating and the translation rating, and chances are you can't go wrong, and you're going to have the best month of your life reading those things.
I mean, I assume based on its status that it must be a very good book, but I mostly only know it as by its reputation as like real long and complicated.
War and Peace.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. You get war and you get peace and you get everything in between. But you get crazy descriptions of war, and you get crazy descriptions of society, everything from like proletariat society to like common folks, but it mainly focuses, I feel like, on the upper echelon of society and the military and relationships and all the stuff going on. It's a lot less war and peace than you'd think, and it's pretty just, I don't know, it's one of the most human books. It's one of the most accessible books I've read because it's just so obviously human. It's not it doesn't feel like a made up fictional story. It just feels like such a complete world that it's so big and so intimidating to some people. But all you got to do is just jump in there, and you're gonna love it.
It's an unexpected effect of the stream that now I'm going to be going home and reading War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy.
We lost half our audience talking about it too.
No, it's good.
Okay, I have one more piece of news. So news, everybody. The news is that I have a slate of gigs lined up. One in March. I mentioned this last time on stream, but March 7th through the 15th, I'm going to Boston to record an EP with the Jacob Akana Band. But one date that I wanted to point out was March 23rd. I'll be playing a solo set at Luna's Fusion. They just released a super sweet poster. Maybe I could pull it up. I want to show you how cool this poster looks. And shout out to whoever's on the graphic team that made this, because it's so cool. Maybe I can actually just do this instead. Okay. Check out this poster, guys. Whoops. Where is it? My monitor isn't showing up. Here we go. Check this thing out. Check out this poster.
It's gorgeous.
And if we zoom in, you'll see that my name is on it on March 23rd. And there's some other cool artists playing. Jimmy Limo, Preston Jacobs, Supertonic Jazz, Annie Cody, Kane McGee, Hal Johnson, Nala Kathleen. Oh, she's so good. And Anna J. And these are all the shows out there in March. They have free Brain Battle trivia every single Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. So live at Luna's, March 23rd. I'll be playing there, and I hope that you make it out. I also have two more gigs in the summer. A couple of farmers market gigs at the Reading Farmers Market. So that'll be a cool place to come check out. And I think that's all I got. Oh, Jam Nights! If you're live, come on down to Jam Nights at the IOF Hall. Starts at 6 o'clock downtown Reading on Market Street. But before Dalton has to leave, I have one more gift for you.
Okay.
And so the bow tie was kind of just like a quick thought, but I have
Good thought.
I have one more gift. I don't even know if you'll be able to utilize it, but there will be a point in your life where you certainly can. And I was kind of siphoning through.
Is it a coffin?
Coffin. I was cycling through my my record collection.
Yes.
And there's a lot of records that have been given to me that have sentimental value, but there's a lot that I bought too. And the way I think about buying stuff is you buy it so you can use it or so you can give it to someone else to use it. And I knew you were going to come on and play a Beatles tune. So I got you. I'm giving you a cool record, Dalton.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious?
Yeah, so we're hooking Dalton up with a copy of Sgt. Pepper's by the Beatles.
That's extraordinary.
And maybe he'll pick a song off the back to play.
Oh my goodness.
Or maybe he'll just play any other Beatles tune.
No, that's such a nice gift. I listened to this on just as CD because I didn't have anything. We could play vinyl in the house for it so many times as a kid. That's really, really thoughtful.
I purchased this record in Anderson at Meteor Music. There's a lot of record stores that I frequent in town. Cascade Curations, Reading Records, Temple Music, the Vintage Shop downtown. But Meteor Records is a super cool one. If you go in and let him know that Daniel sent you, he probably doesn't know who I am, so I don't know why I'm saying this. Let him know that the guys at the Art Hunger sent you, because he does know them. But just say you were referred to go to Meteor Music, and if you buy like more than one record, 2-3 records, I usually buy like 5 or 6 when I go in there, he'll cut you a really good deal and slash some prices. So go to Meteor Music. That's where I picked up the stereo copy of Sgt. Pepper's, and I am so glad that I have a friend that loves the Beatles. That's
an extraordinary gift, and it also prompts me. Therefore, I mean, if you're gonna give me Sgt. Pepper's, and we're gonna in a format like this, there's only one thing I can possibly end with, right? Because I have to sing. What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends.
Ooh.
What do I do when my love is away? Does it worry you to be alone? How do I feel by the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? No, I get by with a little help from my friends. Get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? There it is. I just need someone to love. Would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time. What do you see when you turn out the lights? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Get high with a little help from my friends. Yes, I get by with a little help from my friends. With a little help from my friends.
Don Potter says, good choice. Sgt. Pepper's is the album that changed my life.
Indeed. I've never played that before, and I wasn't completely sure I knew all the lyrics, so I'm glad that happened.
So you staring into the sky when you said...
if my face looked a little weird, it's because I was going, what the hell are the next words to that? I haven't sung this since I was probably 16 or 17.
I thought you were channeling, like, does it worry you to be alone? And you were just, like, looking into the abyss, like, really feeling it.
And the abyss came through, and it delivered all the lyrics. As the abyss will always come through, as we know.
Guys, if this is any indicator of where this podcast is going, I'm the happiest guy in the world because this has been so much fun.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any last words?
Oh, I have a question I hope never to be asked.
Yeah, you know.
Be wonderful to each other and all that good stuff.
Cool. You heard it, guys. Let's be wonderful. Let's be kind. Let's take care of the world. Take care of ourselves. We've been live on the Reading Sound. This is kind of my live stream podcast that I have put together. Tomorrow we're gonna have my good friend Delaney Simpson on the show, and I'm really interested to see how it goes because, like, we're high school friends and we don't really hang out very often, but when we do, it's really special. And she's like an incredibly talented musician. Like, I can't write songs like she can. I don't think anybody can. And she'd probably hate it if she knew I was like hyping her up like this, but she's just absolutely incredible. So I'm really excited to have her on the show. I don't really think I have much else for us today. Dalton's got to go. I'm going to go over to jam nights at the Odd Fellows. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll catch you tomorrow, 5 p.m. tomorrow. We got this kind of variable schedule going on. We'll lock it in eventually. But catch you tomorrow, 5 p.m.-ish. And in the meantime, we'll send you out like we like to do with a little bit of Danger Kitty.
Wake up, you've forgiven me. It's 50,000 years since I first laid down all that weight. And I know that you see me through oh so many tears. 'Cause sometimes things work out that way.
This is my new thing, Dalton. Let's wave goodbye as we fade into the distance.
I long for the summer moon to shine across your face. With that smile, I know you're alright. 'Cause I've taken so much more than I could hope to pay. This darkest just before the light, and we're all just trying to make it through the night. There were so many times we tried to reach it. There were so many times we tried to make it be. All of the roads we traveled wasn't all that was needed, but for you, my heart shall remain evergreen. So wake up, I've forgiven you. It's 50,000 years since you first laid down all that weight. Sometimes things are better when we go our separate ways. Sometimes there's nothing